Yeah, I'm sure.
How does it feel?
It's mad because back when I was in my 20s, you used to look up to these cars. Never would have thought I'd drive a Dimma. Very nostalgic, feeling young again. Let's experience what a Clio Williams Dimma is like. There it is. There she is. Look at that. That's what we've come to see. Oh.
It started when I was 17. Everybody had Novas or Corsas. Very few people seemed to do the Clios up. That was white and blue leather interior. I had TVs in the sun visors. Life happens, you know, family. Ended up sitting there for a long time. And in the end, I took everything off it and we ragged it around the banger track.
Really?
Yeah, the car itself, not with all the kit and wheels and everything, obviously. Took the show round, destroyed it, and I sold all the kit to a mate of mine, and he then had it all sat in the car for about 6 months, and I bought the car back. And one of my mates was training to be a sprayer. He's a fantastic sprayer now, Ross Bascott. He did it all silver and then put the biggest chunky metal flake that you could ever see on this car, and it looked like a diamond. I didn't have time or the money to finish it, and I ended up selling the whole thing. Practically, well, I had about 3.5 grand spray job on it for 600 quid.
Oh. Sitting here.
I suppose it's not all that different to you. You've kind of got a max power car.
Yeah, it is, to be fair. You're not wrong, actually. Because I've never experienced it myself, because sitting in another max power car.
Yeah.
It's surreal. Just nothing like it, is there?
No, it's there's not a corner, not a stone been unturned in here.
It's inexperienced. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It does.
She pops and bangs as well a little bit. But not because she's had a map put on it, just because it's
Just how it is.
how it is, yeah. Yeah, I got this instead of a Rolls Royce headliner.
It looks better, mate, to be fair.
I absolutely
Suits
agree.
it a lot better, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's much more.
I think the Starlight would have been a bit out of place, like you said.
The trick that I learned when I was younger was, if you're ever coming up to a blind corner, just turn your lights off. Turn them off real quick, and then you can see whether there's anybody coming around the other way, and then you flick it back on and get right over.
That's true.
So,
Have you always lived around here?
Yeah, I've born and bred in Burton, lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
But you get that rumble and bumble from yours, don't you?
I do, yeah. No predicting what noise it's going to make.
My favourite thing about the car, and what most people's hatred about the car, is actually that I drive it the way that I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So it should be driven.
Right.
And I trust you with it because I know you know what car it is.
Yeah, I know
you won't
the
do
car
anything
well.
stupid in it. I was just saying then that I've never experienced being in another max power car apart from the V6. So like sitting in one, another one, I was like, I'm not used to the feeling of another one. Do you know what I mean? That's how different it is.
They're all the same.
Characteristic.
They're all their own characteristics. They're not the best to drive. They just make you feel young.
Finally managed to muscle up some money, and I was going to go and buy a Williams Clio, just a nice, good example, standard one. I think it was about 6 grand. And the night before I was going to go and buy it, I was searching on the internet. I came across a website called Trevoit, and I seen that car on there. It was up for 12 grand, and I rang the guy and I said, "Have you still got it?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Are you willing to move on that price? Just make me an offer. I'll give you 10 grand cash for it." He said, "Yeah, all right, then, fair enough." So I got all excited. I didn't really think about it. And same again, the day before I went to go and pick it up, I thought, you know what, I best do an HPI on this. Yeah, and I did an HPI on it, and it came back as a total loss. Alarm bells was ringing. So then I ended up getting hold of HPI and asking them to do an in-depth investigation on it. They couldn't find anything on it because the time had passed or whatever, but they ended up giving it HPI clear. Then I got the address off the guy. It was at a recycling centre in Liverpool, like bales of plastic and stuff like that. I thought, God, here we go. So it was all looking a little bit dodgy, but I thought I've got to chance it. So I went up there and I got Terry Pankhurst to meet me at the place, at the site. I paid him to come and authenticate the car on site before I'd even paid any money for it.
Right, okay.
And the moment that he authenticated it, take my money.
Let's go and have a little drive. Let's feel young. Let's experience what a Clio Williams Dimma is like. You don't have to go fast. It's all about the looks, and that was what it was about in the Max Power era. You wanted to go slow. You wanted to just drive around because you wanted to show everyone your car. The thing I am picking up on is, in your mirrors, you see these massive arches of the body kit. You can see the vents in the arches. It is brilliant. It's just reliving my youth. Just a lovely car. So let's turn this up.
Strictly drum and bass, make you wind up your waist.
What's cool, I'm reliving my 20s with my son. Because this is what we would do, go round and round and round, with music as loud as it would go, just to look cool. Let's see the boys' reaction.
I don't hurt your ears.
It's cool, isn't it?
Oh my
Cool.
God. It's insane.
Oh God, it just brings back the nostalgia again. I feel 20 odd, pulling up to McDonald's car park. This for the YouTube and going seeing these Max Power cars is me just reliving that youth and enjoying every minute of it. And thank you guys for watching, because I get to do this in cool old school Max Power era cars.
Don't tell Chris this.
Don't tell Chris. The speaker pods fell off. I haven't broke it. Please don't tell him. I haven't done nothing to it, Chris. There we go. Are we on? Close the door. I haven't done nothing else. There we go.
It was just kit wheels and the accent pieces. The wheels you could change. I mean, those particular wheels, they're one of 10 sets worldwide that Terry had made, because they look exactly the same as the ones that you find on the Peugeot, but the offset's different.
Right, okay.
The Peugeots are a 108, 4B 108, these are a 4B 100. So yeah, they're one of 10 sets, and they're extremely difficult to find tyres for. I can only have the tyres that are on it because they're the only company and only tyre that I can have that match front and rear. Do you remember Barry Boys?
Barry Boys, yeah.
So yeah, so this has been on Barry Boys.
Has he really?
At some point or another, somebody had added an extra diffuser on it, added an extra splitter, and it's had mechanical work after mechanical work. Obviously, it's a 1995 Renault. They're not known to be reliable.
So as the car sits now, this is how you got it.
Externally, yes.
You know what then? So for the time it's there, it's in really good shape.
For its age,
its
it really is. It's going to go to ST Performance this winter after this show season, because things are starting to come out of the woodwork now, and the kit's going to come off, and I'm going to eventually be able to find out exactly what number it is, because there was only 38 of these made by Dimma. There was one Cosworth conversion done, which is at ST Performance. You'll be thinking about the purple one with the air intake that sticks out the bonnet.
Anyone who watches the channel will know the guy who built the Renault 5 Turbo 2, he had that car. I don't know if he built it.
Yeah, I believe he built it, yeah.
Right, Charlie.
So there was only one Cosworth done that was a part of the original 38 that was built by Dimma, and that is the one that's at ST Performance right now. My understanding, and I might be wrong, but obviously I've done as much research as I can. So the only way to know which number of the 38 is, you have to take the kit off, and the number will be written on the inside of one of the rear arches.
Wow, okay.
So I'll know next year exactly what number it is, but I do know that there was one Cosworth, 2 Williams 2, 2 Williams 1, and the rest of them was 1.816 valves. This is one of the 2 Williams 2.
We've opened the bonnet, so this is obviously a 2-litre 16 valve. It is the factory engine. Not really much been done to it. It has been cleaned up and painted. It has got the original Dimma plaques, which obviously has been confirmed by Terry. He is looking at probably turbo and supercharged in the future, just to get that turbo noise. The interior's a new extra.
Yes.
So what's been the process then? You just thought, I like the Max Power era. What's the logic from going from, I've got a running and driving car, to now what to turn it into something personalised for yourself?
Well, so some people dream of owning a Lamborghini. Some people dream of owning a Pagani. I dream or dreamt of owning a Williams Dimma, because when I was 17, we all bought the car that we wanted. For example, you wouldn't have been able to afford the red top.
Correct.
Because the insurance and this, that, and the other. Well, that's what you wanted. And I remember I designed this car when I was in school. Well, not this car, but obviously my own car with my own kit on it and this, that, and the other. And yeah, it was always a dream to have a max power car. I mean, if the show or if the magazine was still running, it would be an absolute dream come true for it to be on the cover. And I feel like by the time I'm finished, it'd make it, because we're not done yet. There's still more to do. So yeah, anyway, interior, the seats was really tatty. The interior was tired. Me and my wife Amy, we went round. We didn't get the passion that we needed out of the people there, nor did they seem to want to do something quite as extreme as what I wanted, until we found Paul Zadinsky, again, I don't know if I've said that right, at Base Hull Customs over in Hull. And I took it to him. All I wanted was the seats to be done. And that was the plan. We was going to get the seats done. And I have an extraordinary wife who, whilst we were sat there in the meeting and we was talking about what I was going to do, you know, as the time progressed, and Paul was like, why don't we'll just do it now? And I was like, I ain't got the money. Can't afford that right now. I just want the seats doing, and then my missus said, just give him the car. Let him get on with it. We'll find it. And she did. She found the money. Yeah, a really good woman. Very, very rare. It's all thanks to my wife. The interior is the God's honest truth. I wasn't able to see anything. I believe that she had some.
Outstanding. So it was a complete surprise.
Absolute complete surprise. Well, he asked me sort of a percentage on colour scheme, and I said I wanted it 60% white, 30% blue, and 10% gold. That was my colour scheme, because it kind of matches the outside of the car, and it takes me back to my original car that was also blue and white. And I wanted TVs in my sun visors. I wanted a Rolls-Royce headliner, you know, the Starlit headliner, and I wanted diamond stitch seating because it looks like the Renault badge. He rang me and he said, can we change the Xbox? Because this one's old, it doesn't really work with what I'm trying to do with it. And I said, we can't. I said, it has to be the original Xbox to keep it as error correct as possible. It's a 90s car, it needs a 90s Xbox. It's also what I had in my first car. From that and me saying I needed to keep it period correct, we made some changes. So I don't have a Rolls-Royce headliner, because we didn't have them in the 90s. I don't have diamond stitch seating, so didn't have them in the 90s. And I don't have TVs in my sun visors neither. So instead he put me a couple of TVs in my doors, and then he gave me my special one in the rear.
How do we play the Xbox?
I'll do to you what the guy did to me. So when he showed me it, he opened the doors up, and there's a few various switches in the front here. He opened it up, and obviously I was overwhelmed at this point. I was so pleased with it. And then he turned the Xbox on, and we were stood there chatting. I was like, this is amazing. I was so over the moon. And I could hear a little noise, but I didn't really know what was going on. And in my head, I was thinking, well, that's great. I'm really pleased with it, but how do I actually, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to stand at the back of the car and play on that 5-inch screen. When I've got the doors shut, I can't play in it. What the hell am I supposed to do? And then that happened.
Look at that.
And the clearances and tolerances on it are phenomenal.
So we've just loaded up now with the TV on, and if you look, that's my channel on YouTube. I don't know if you can see it. You need to remember back in, like you say, the 90s and late 90s, nearly 2000s, we would pull up at a car cruise, you'd have your music blaring, you'd have your TV out, be showing it off like it was a small car meet. And this is the reason why nowadays, I won't say I get upset, I feel the youngsters aren't seeing what we're seeing, because they're pulling up to these car meets at local McDonald's or wherever they are, Tesco's, wherever, and they're all blended in together. It's all financed, no one's individual. But can you imagine pulling up to McDonald's and having this part there with the doors open, the music blaring, the telly's there, the telly's there? It was like every local area had their own mini car show every weekend. I've just put this speaker in, I've just put this new edge unit in, I've just put these new wheels on. That was what the Max Power era was about, and that is why, for me, this is always the best era. The Xbox, which I love the fact that this is his original Xbox, that he played the Need for Speeding back in the day. You've obviously got all the speakers and the tweeters up this side, the same at that side, the 3 amps, and obviously the 3 big subs which are just behind there. There's so much in this car to go at, but we'll start with the door cards. Goes back to the Max Power era. It was all about outdoing the next man. 4 door speakers, 4 on the other side. Telly in the there. So when you obviously close the door, yeah, you can't see nothing. It's down near where your elbow would sit. But it wasn't about that. It was all about standing out, personalisation, making it different. Because like I say, it is no use, no ornament. You're never going to say, oh, we'll put I don't know, Harry Potter on and we'll drive to London and we can watch it. It was about turning up to a show and going into detail, showing you one-off stuff and just having your personality in your car, which in my opinion is very much lost these days. Nowadays it's all blended in with the rest of the group, stage 2s. No one does the personality. That's why I love the Max Power kind of era, because everyone put their own heart and soul into their build. The full dash has obviously been trimmed in leather, got the original Dimma plaque, that's obviously what you need. It's stitched in the dash William too. The obligatory Momo, because everyone had a Momo steering wheel, that was a thing you had to have back in the day. Momo steering wheel, Momo gear knob, wonderfully trimmed seats, wonderful. It has the Dimma design in the middle, and then if you look up into the air, it has Dimma designs in the roof with this beautiful stitched in white panel. It is a true Max Power era car. Some people look at this and go, don't get it. The younger folk don't get it. But for the older generation who lived that era, this is as it was. And this would have been one of the top cars back in the day. How many of the 38 then survived?
It's hard to say. Obviously, on the Dimma forums, we're reckoning around 30. But obviously, there's still a fair few around. But some of them, who knows whether they're one of the original 38 or not. Obviously, they used to sell kits. So, like the one that you're thinking of, the Cosworth conversion, it is a Dimma Clio without a shadow of a doubt. It's a real Dimma kit, but it's not built by Dimma. So that's what makes this one a little bit more special than most. Yeah. So I was under the understanding that you went to Renault and you could buy one from showroom, and I believe that you could. I also know that you could just take a car to Dimma and they would build it for you. And I don't know whether that was then also added into the 38 that he did in whatever time period it was. So I don't know. It's the God's honest truth. Every time I get in it, I smile. Every time I walk away from it, I look back at it. I mean, in my opinion, there's only one car better than this, and that's the Cosworth Clio. Even though the purple one actually does look nicer than the Cosworth one. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, that's the only car that's better than this one in the entire world.
So to put this in perspective, you can see how far away I am, and I can still hear that clear as anything. You turn up to a car park, a local cruise, and that's what you see. Music blaring in the distance, show cars. That's why the era of the late 90s, early 2000s just wins. I am about a good 200 foot away, at least. Massive thank you for Chris for letting us come out and film the car. Beautiful build, beautiful spec. This is one of the best max power cars of today's era I have been to see, and it's definitely made my day reliving my youth. So I'll sign this one off. If you know of any older max power cars that are being built now, new ones, old ones, whatever it is, get in touch. We want to come and see you. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all on the next video.